sir, are you lost?" The voice cut through the cold hum of the air conditioning like a scalpel. Elias Mercer paused just inside the doorway of Ironclad Armory, his boots leaving faint prints on the polished tile. The shop smelled of gun oil and arrogance. Stainless steel counters, LED-lit displays, rifles gleaming like museum pieces. Behind the glass, Lauren Price, the manager, didn't look up from her clipboard. "This isn't a pawn shop, sir. We sell precision weapons, not nostalgia." Eli's eyes tracked past her, to a rifle mounted on the wall. An M1 Garand, wood darkened by age but alive with memory. The same model he'd carried through another kind of winter. He exhaled softly, voice barely above a murmur. "I'd like to buy that one." Lauren blinked, then smiled the way people do before they say something cruel. "That's a $5,800 collector's rifle. Fully functional, 3006 semi-auto. Not exactly a retirement hobby." A couple of younger customers snickered nearby. One of them, Noah Perez, a new hire, shifted uncomfortably. He wasn't sure whether to step in or stay silent. Eli didn't move. "I'm aware of the price," he said evenly, "and of what it can do." Something in his tone, quiet, patient, unshakable, drained the laughter from the room. Lauren leaned forward, resting manicured hands on the counter. "We can't just sell rifles to anyone who walks in with a story, you know. Paperwork, background checks, competency tests." Her eyes narrowed. "You do know how to handle a weapon that size, right?" Eli met her gaze, steady and unblinking. "Ma'am," he said, "I've handled worse in colder places." For a moment, no one breathed. The hum of the fluorescent lights filled the silence like static before a storm. Then Lauren straightened, tapping the counter. "Fine. Let's see if your paperwork is as impressive as your confidence." Eli reached slowly for his wallet. The leather cracked, edges darkened by time. And as he opened it, a single faded photograph slipped free, landing on the glass between them. Lauren frowned, leaning closer. "Who are they?" Eli's expression didn't change. "They're the reason I came home." "Sound off, soldier. Where are you watching from? Stay sharp. The next mission deploys soon. Subscribe to Stories Untold and join the unit." Lauren's laugh was sharp enough to draw blood. $5,800 for that rifle, sir. Maybe try the sporting section. Something lighter, something safer." Eli didn't answer. The quiet around him thickened like air before lightning. Then, slowly, he set his cracked leather wallet on the counter. The sound, soft, worn, somehow carried farther than her voice. When he opened it, something slipped free. A faded black and white photograph. 5 young soldiers in snow-covered fatigues, grinning against a sky that looked colder than death. Lauren hesitated. Frown forming. "They family?" Eli's tone was flat. They were. For a breath, the room was still. Then she forced a smile, the kind that hides discomfort behind cruelty. "Well, paperwork, please. We do background checks, you know. It's policy." Behind her, Noah Perez froze midway through stacking boxes of .308 ammo. He'd seen veterans before. None of them moved like this man. There was something in Eli's stillness, the way his shoulders squared without effort, like a soldier standing formation in invisible snow. Across the aisle, a man in a faded hoodie shifted. Sergeant Mason Riker, recently discharged Ranger, watched the exchange with a tightening jaw. The woman's tone, the old man's restraint. It stirred a memory he couldn't name. Eli passed his license and firearm card forward. His hands didn't shake. Lauren snatched them up, scanned the ID. Elias Mercer, Meridian Veterans Housing, of course. She rolled her eyes, typing loud enough for everyone to hear. "Let's see if the system thinks you're still cleared to touch a weapon." Riker's phone was already in his hand. He turned his back, whispering low. "This is Sergeant Riker, Former 3rd Ranger Battalion. I've got an elderly vet being humiliated at Ironclad Armory. Name's Elias Mercer." Silence on the line. Then, one voice, tight with urgency. "Stay there. Don't let him leave." Riker looked up. The old man was staring at the Garand again, blue eyes steady and far away. Lauren glanced at her monitor, then smirked. "Background's clean, but maybe I'll call someone anyway, just to be sure you're all there." Riker's pulse kicked. He didn't know who Elias Mercer was, but Fort Meridian did, and whatever they remembered, it had them moving. The phone line at Fort Meridian went dead before Sergeant Riker could ask another question. Inside the armory, the air was electric. Every breath felt like it might set something off. Lauren tapped her nails on the counter, pretending calm. "If you're not comfortable, Mr. Mercer, I can make a call," she said sweetly. "Maybe have someone check on you." Eli looked at her hand on the phone and said quietly, "You don't want to do that." Outside, the sound came first. Low, synchronized, unmistakable. Heavy engines in formation, no sirens, no chatter, just movement. Noah turned to the window, his voice barely a whisper. Ma'am, you might want to see this." Lauren frowned and looked up, just as 2 black Suburbans and a military police tactical vehicle swung into the parking lot with surgical precision. Her smirk faltered. "What the hell?" The door opened, bell chiming softly against a wave of cold air and authority. Colonel Nathan Pierce stepped through, full dress uniform, medals gleaming like small suns under the fluorescent lights. Behind him, Sergeant Major Victor Hargrove and 2 MPs took position. The room went dead silent. Even the hum of the lights seemed to fade. Pierce's eyes scanned, then locked on Eli. His face changed, disbelief, then reverence. He strode forward, heels snapping together, salute sharp as a rifle crack. "Mr. Mercer." "Sir." "Colonel Nathan Pierce, commanding officer, Fort Meridian." "It's an honor." Lauren blinked. "Wait, what? What's happening?" Pierce ignored her completely. His voice carried the weight of history. "For those who don't know, you're in the presence of a man who survived the Battle of Iron Ridge, December 1950. Then Private Elias Mercer held the northern line alone, buying time for 12 wounded men to be evacuated. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Valor." The words hit like a detonation. Noah stepped back, pale. Riker exhaled through clenched teeth, realization flooding his face. Lauren's voice broke. "That can't be real. He's just—" Pierce turned to her, gaze like ice. "You almost called the police on him for being old." But Eli raised a hand. "Colonel, enough." The authority in his tone silenced the room faster than rank ever could. He looked at Lauren, not angry, only tired. "You see a relic. They see a soldier. But his voice caught. "I see ghosts." Pierce's radio crackled. A voice, urgent. "Command, we've got movement at the veterans' housing. Possible break-in, file under Mercer. Classified clearance required." Every soldier in the room stiffened. Pierce's expression darkened. "Say again?" Static. Then, "Sir, someone's already inside." Eli's face drained of color. He turned slowly toward the window, the reflection of red and blue lights flickering across his eyes. "They found me," he whispered. And then the power cut out. The blackout hit like a heartbeat gone still. For a moment, there was nothing. No hum, no light, only the faint sound of someone's breath. Then a flashlight beam cut through the dark. Colonel Pierce's voice, low but commanding. "Lock it down. Nobody leaves this building." The MPs moved fast, weapons up, sweeping the aisles with discipline born from habit. Glass glinted, nerves frayed. Noah huddled behind the counter, eyes wide. Lauren stood frozen, clutching her phone like a lifeline. Eli hadn't moved. He stood by the window, the soft reflection of emergency lights tracing the lines of his face. He looked calm. Too calm. Pierce turned to him. "Mr. Mercer, what did you mean? They found you." Eli's jaw tightened. "Some things from the old world don't stay buried. You think Iron Ridge ended in 1950? It didn't." A silence fell heavy as dust. Pierce stepped closer. "Sir, if you're in danger, Fort Meridian can provide protection." Eli cut him off. "You can't protect what you don't understand." Hargrove's radio crackled again. "Command, this is Meridian Patrol 1. Confirm, intruders at Veterans Complex neutralized, but, sir, you'll want to see this." Static, then a fragment of a sentence. "Files marked Nightfall Protocol recovered, Mercer's name all over them." Pierce froze. "Nightfall? That operation was sealed before I was born." Eli turned away from the window, voice quiet. "Not sealed. Just waiting." Lauren whispered, "What are you people talking about?" Eli looked at her, eyes old and unblinking. "You wanted to know who I was. I helped build something that was never supposed to wake up again." Hargrove's flashlight flickered. The beam caught the edge of a small metal tag half hidden beneath Eli's collar, a military dog tag, scorched and blackened. The inscription was barely legible, but one word stood out. Nightfall. Outside, distant sirens began to echo, first one, then another, then too many to count. Pierce's radio flared to life once more, a voice cutting through the static like a knife. "Fort Meridian Command, this is Overwatch. We have an unauthorized data breach in your secure network. Priority code black. Target identifier. Mercer." Repeat. Mercer is the target. Pierce's eyes locked on Eli. Eli didn't flinch. He just whispered. Then it started again. Red emergency lights bled across the walls of Ironclad Armory, painting every face in tension. Radios crackled, boots shifted. Nobody breathed too loud. Colonel Pierce faced Eli Mercer, voice low. "Sir, if you know what Nightfall is, tell me now." Eli's gaze stayed on the window, where distant sirens pulsed like a slow heartbeat. "Nightfall wasn't defense," he said. "It was cleanup. They erased the soldiers who saw too much. Iron Ridge was the test run." Sergeant Major Hargrove stiffened. "You're saying they buried us," Eli cut in. "The survivors became ghosts. Easier that way." Behind the counter, Lauren trembled, realizing the man she'd mocked wasn't broken. He'd been buried alive by history. Pierce's radio hissed. "Command to Pierce. Mercer is classified threat. Detain immediately." A long silence. Then Riker moved forward, hand resting near his holster. "Sir, with respect. This man doesn't sound like a threat. He sounds like the last witness." Pierce's jaw tightened, the kind of hesitation that decides a career. Eli gave a small smile. "You're not built to cage ghosts, Colonel. Let me go." He turned toward the door. The MPs shifted, but Pierce raised a hand. "Stand down." Outside, rain began to fall. Faint, steady, washing the glass in silver. Eli stepped into it, shoulders square as if reporting for one final watch. Pierce called after him. "You walk out that door. I can't protect you." Eli paused, never turning back. "You already did, son. You remembered." The door shut behind him with a soft metallic click. The storm swallowed him whole. When dawn came, the only thing left was an envelope on the counter, edges soaked and stamped with an insignia no one could trace. Inside, a single photograph. 5 soldiers in the snow smiling through the frost. And on the back, written in faded ink, "We held."